Hey, I'm live. It is Monday, April 13th. I look a wreck. It is moving day and the truck is here. Everybody's moving stuff in, so you'll see activity behind me. They're playing the radio real loud, and so you might hear some of that. I didn't choose that music. They did, and that's fine. And as soon as Ellie comes on, I'm going to face the camera to the wall and get back to telling them where to put stuff, because they are very, very busy unloading the truck right now, and I need to be telling them where to put stuff. For the most part, we've had enough time with my saying go here, there, and they're catching the drift of where things go. But I'm a little distracted. Actually, I'm more than a little distracted. I'm extremely distracted. And so give me a second. If it says craft room or anything like that, just go ahead and throw all of those, out front. That's fine. Thanks. So I had a few things that I wanted to share today from things that had happened over the weekend, and I'll tell you, my mind is a sieve right now, so there is no way that I'm going to have any information to share with you. So I'm going to jabber and chat. And did you guys get to do any church services for Easter? I saw that the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, had said no drive-in churches. There was a drive-in church there, and he said no way. And then a federal judge overruled him so that they could. And the plan was that anybody who came on the church parking lot would get a $500 fine. And that just did not sit well with the judge, thank God. And so he told them no. And I forgot to open this up so Ellie can come on now. Now she can. Sorry, I look a wreck, but it's moving day, and you wouldn't believe I actually combed my hair several hours ago. So we got internet hookup this morning, and moving truck is here unloading, and the place is not nearly as full of boxes as my last move. So I'm very, very grateful, because this house is half of what I used to have or less. And my last house was filled floor to ceiling, all but a 15-inch space between boxes to get from room to room. And so it was ridiculous. Oh my goodness, Linda, falling off your ladder. That is awful. I'm so sorry. So Linda, tell us what happened at the hospital. Was it full? Was it crowded? Were they willing to treat you since you weren't there for the virus? I've heard that they're even shutting down small hospitals because nobody's allowed to do anything that's not virus related. And I tell you, folks, remember, Larry has told us, remember, put your finger and thumb together and rub them together, and the space between, and push them tight now. That space between is how close we are to be fully communistic. And Larry has told us that the only thing that is not fully communist, just go ahead and stick them back in the room there. The only thing not fully communist right now is the Oval Office. I mean, so many of the people working with the president, supposedly working with him and for him, are communists themselves and trying to help take this down. Don't forget, Anderson Cooper a couple of years ago said he would love to see this country in total bankruptcy, the economy totally destroyed, if that would take Trump down. Now, how Anderson Cooper thinks he's rich enough to be one of the elites that's going to stay in power, there are certain billionaires who have bought their way in, who are not part of the power elite, but had enough money to buy their way into the power elite. Oh, good, Michelle. That sounds lovely, doing video. I did video church all day while I was cleaning out kitchen cabinets. This house looked pretty clean when I moved in, and I started wiping out kitchen cabinets, and I was horrified how quickly my rag was black. So only 3 people in the Iowa town that she's in have tested positive. So that's good news. And you know, here in Conway, here in Arkansas, half the people have gloves on. A few people have masks on. Most people are not bothering. So it seems to me people here are ready to just get back to life. The president did ask for prayer. The president did ask for prayer because he said this decision on whether to open the country back up and whether they do it all at once everywhere or little by little, he said it's the most difficult and biggest decision he's ever made in his life. So keep him in prayer. He wants our prayer. Did you see what he said over the weekend about Easter? He talked about the day that we celebrate our, not yours, but our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He called him our Lord. Jesus is our Lord. I just thought that was awesome. So Ellie, guess what? You take it away, and when you're done, I'll just try and keep tabs on what's going on. I'm going to go on mute and stop the camera for me, and you're going to have full screen, and you take it away. And I need to be telling them where to put boxes. So I'm going to go back to move in, and it's all yours, Ellie. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
And the guys, everybody gets to hear something, and you know we don't have to cancel the day. So God bless you all.
You want me to sing for the movers?
Huh?
You want me to sing for the movers?
You know, if you're singing for the community in the chat, you just go right ahead. But if you want to afterwards, if you want to come over here and sing for them, that's fine too. They're nearly done, but they're nearly done. Well, you know, we'll see. About a third, 2/3 done. All right. Love y'all, and I will definitely be back. We'll be back to regular schedule tomorrow, but you got Ellie today, so enjoy. Bye.
Goodness, she just like zipped in, zipped out. Now she has movers, and wow. Well, here in Arkansas, we only have 5, I believe now, that have the virus. They're saying close to 200 were diagnosed, but that number's way down now. But we did have 2 die over the weekend, and both were at Baptist. So we're watching them. May 9th. What's the question, James, for May 9th? Well, we did have some, I don't know if Mary Ellen mentioned, but we had some pretty fierce storms move through here, and they only grew worse going across the south. And it's killed 12 people in the south. It was quick. It was a quick moving storm. And even Mary Ellen, when I talked to her, she said, wow, the lightning here is different. And it is. It's in the south, it's real. It's into the ground. You feel it. You feel it. It just isn't a strike, and then, but you feel it, and it goes for a while. And we had a lot of big boomers. Oh yes, I hope everybody had a wonderful, blessed Easter. I did post, I believe it was Jesus of Nazareth. I know it's a really long movie, but I put that on our news page. I was hoping to find the Passion, but because I love that. That was an awesome movie. In fact, it just brought tears to my eyes. Larry's status. What I have been able to find out, because I did go to his house here a while back and talk to his wife, and oh wow, what a beautiful woman she is. Oh my goodness, she looks like an old model to me, you know, like she used to be a model. She's just tall and gorgeous. But she had told me pretty much his status, and that he was, and this was about 2.5 weeks ago, he was finally being able to sit up. He was finally starting to eat. He had a lot of anxiety, and I believe that is from just, you know, being sick for so long. She said he was sitting up more. They were working on his CO2, because we all know he's on oxygen. And other than that, she said it would be a few weeks more because he's lost a lot of weight, and that, you know, they're going to get his strength back. And then it would be a couple more weeks before he would really be able to maybe start coming back. I was always, you know, when I heard her, I was under the impression that he was going to come back. So, you know, um, steroids, yeah, that could be it. She was very honest with me, and she told me, you know, she felt the prayers of all of you. She felt the love. She said there was certain times and that she just really was overwhelmed by uh, the prayers that she felt from you guys. So keep the prayers going, you know. And she said it was real touching. And what I told her was, you know, that they pray for you and Larry a lot, and you know they just love Larry so very much, and she's feeling it. So, um, you know, I believe it's going to be a few more weeks, and we might find out something. She did invite me back. I'm trying to like give some distance, and it's been a couple weeks, so you know, I will, you know, go back and touch bases with her again, because she feels very comfortable talking to me, and I love his dog. For those that, you know, are just asking about him and didn't hear this info, he has got the most wonderful dog, and I was petting him, and or her, I think, yeah, I think it's a her, and she just was wanting me to pet her the whole time I was there. So that, you know, until I get back over there, you know, I know Mary Ellen has talked to him briefly. Um, he has a lot of his throat to, you know, get better. Um, and, you know, I hope he'll come back and he'll sound like the Larry we all know. Hi, Miss Randy. I was thinking about you today. You must have heard. You must have heard my vibes. You know, right before I got in, I got something for I got some info, and I don't know how much you remember the whole big. It's like with the dog. It's like oh my goodness, it's like I don't know dogs very well. To me, it was kind of a greyhound looking dog, but not. She was all spotted. A beautiful dog, you know, tall, friendly. And well, the first time I seen her, she was barking, 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 and jumping, and I didn't know, you know, uh, how she would take me. I talked to her, and that first time I went to Larry's, um, Carrie had come out and talked to me out on the porch, and we talked for a while, and then I gave the report on that. And the second time, this last time I went, she just, oh, come in. How are you doing? And Afghan, maybe. You know, I'm like I said, I'm not real good on the dogs. But you know, when Larry comes back, we're going to have to ask him to tell us all about her, because that dog has got some serious personality. So, you know, I'll go back out. You know, I'll give him a few more days. And it's hard to catch her because she does go to the hospital. But yeah, I'll go back over and talk to her and get some more info how he's doing. I'm kind of hoping, you know, this last time I went that he would be there. Maybe this time, you know, I'll be able to see him in the living room. Because you know, I don't want to intrude and say, you know, can I see him? And you know, I'm just really giving her and the family a lot of space. And I'm not going to push myself on it, you know, because she's probably got a lot going on. Now, she did say that his sister and his daughter was there a lot with him, too. So, no, it wasn't as big as a Great Dane. It was more like Randy said it's a mixed breed, a rescue. And so I'm thinking It was tall. She was kind of short-haired, silky. Um, like I said, like almost the face of a greyhound, but mixed with something. So, and I hope in prayers for those that who was it? Who was it that had someone that passed? Was it Mimi last week that had someone pass away, her mom? A lot of prayers for her. I can't remember. So I know you guys are going to have great memories more than me. But, I thought about that during, on Easter and how sad, that is to, lose a loved one so close to the holidays. Now, really looked into the Spygate with Russia, and no, it was not you. Does anybody remember? Was it Rosebud? Is that who, Pam? Is that who it was? Mimi, I tried to put you up in the spotlight. We might have to just put Mimi in the spotlight and have her do a song and dance for us. Rosebud. Okay, yes. There we go. Thank you. Now, I wanted to get this out because I got the info, and I have a funny feeling that the media is going to act on this really quick. And so for some reason, you guys get all my new info before my own viewers. So what it is the media is, I believe, like what Tom Fenton came out with and a few others on this thing with the FBI and the CIA and Brennan and Mueller, knowing that the whole thing with Trump and the Russian collusion was false. And they're investigating it. Now it's coming out with Brennan involved and Comey. And I just really do believe what's going to happen. The media is going to come out and say that they were tricked by Russia. No. Because even in the Mueller report, it came out that they knew it was Russian collusion. And they had, Papadopoulos. Now, I hope you guys know about this. Otherwise, I'll have to do a whole show to tell you guys about the Spygate. So what's going to happen, I believe, is they're going to come out and say it wasn't really malicious what they did. They didn't know. They were tricked by the Russians. And no. Let's not let Brennan and Comey off of this. They knew. And not to mention, in the documents, it even shows that when it went to Strauss and he had to fill out the, I can't remember the name of the form, but he had wrote one statement and then a few days later wrote another statement, and Dummy kept them both in the files. So it was definitely, they were saying it was Spygate. And the thing about it is, they had it, they called it, I don't know how many, because you guys are really smart. Let's see what they called it. Crossfire Hurricane. I know you guys have heard, and I hope Larry got you up to speed on that. With Crossfire Hurricane was the investigation they were doing. Well, now what has come out in new documents is it wasn't just Crossfire Hurricane. There was another investigation. It was called Dragon. And so, this is something that I think a lot of people that have looked into this, I have, need to find out what this dragon is. And and the funny thing is, it was in the documents that actually went to Mueller. So, yeah, the thing about it is, even Larry Nichols, when he was talking about the soft coup, and all of this was a part of it when they first started, because they can't really claim that this is just the Russians trying to trick them is what's coming out of the Times. And I just don't like the New York Times. They have always lied about this. And the thing is not only that, but when you look back into um, Brennan in his early uh, times that he was on MSNBC, he was giving info that would prove that this was not some fake stories they were hearing, because it was Papadopoulos and it was McCabe and a bunch of them. Oh yeah, and this was all for Clinton too. Some of the things that's coming out is, oh, they were doing this for Hillary Clinton, and because of info she had gotten. See, this is the rumors that are coming out, and to me, and it's coming out from Brennan and that whole little coup thing that they got going, and they even have kind of insinuated they are going to say that it was Hillary Clinton and their people that looked into it. Well, when you look into Hillary Clinton and who she gets to go after people, it's lawyers. There's about 20, 25 of them. And it's, really odd that 17 were on the Mueller team, her top ones. So, this is getting interesting again, because it's dumb that they're actually bringing out Spygate again just to cover up what Barr has uncovered with Durham. And that's what started all this. And then it went to Tom Fenton getting more emails, and now he is uncovered a lot of documents. So, really, now we just about, I think Barr and Durham has really cornered them on this, because they cannot back out of what they did. And see, that's what they're trying to do, is with Comey and Brennan, and even, they don't mention Clapper a lot. And I think he was just the puppet for Brennan. But what's going to come out next, they are going to try to twist this and put it back that the Russians deceived them, and don't let them do that. I'm so busy pulling up info for this, and it almost looks like I might even have to do a show on it. So, that's some good news. Now, the other thing that came out was a statement by, and this is getting into what is being done with Congress and the COVID-19 bill. The thing about it that is a holdup, and I've been looking into it, is there are some extra stuff that she put in the bill, voting changes. And so what I looked into is trying to figure out what the voting changes were. And there's very few that are talking about it, and it's talking about the electoral and other things. Well, the statement that came out by the Republican was, this is a reckless threat to continue blocking job-saving fund lists in the renegotiation and the unrebuttal programs, which are not in similar peril. This will not be Congress's last word in the COVID-19, but a crucial program needs to be funded now. American workers cannot be used as a political hostage. And, I could see that. But, I listened to Schumer, and what they really want to do is they want to add fundings to be able to pay the doctors and nurses in the health department and other state systems. And, I thought, well, that's kind of a good idea until you really think about it. They want to add extra billions to pay the doctors and nurses. Well, what is weird with that is the hospitals that I called around on. I called UC Davis out in Sacramento. I called, of course, the two here, and I called up to Mount Sinai in New York, I believe. And all of them said they pay their doctors. In fact, they have gotten bonuses, that they have got it through the state, that they all are getting big bonuses for their extra work. They took basically they get their salary plus they're getting time for the overtime they're doing. So they're being paid very well. So I don't know. What do you guys think on this? Do you think we need to give them more money, even though the hospitals themselves are paying them, giving them bonuses, paying them hourly for their overtime, and there's supposed to be a big bonus coming? No, they're never going to stop. I think Nadler is definitely going after it for Hillary. There's just a hatred of Hillary and Trump. But, looking back, when I was looking into Hillary in the early days, and I remember Trump around them a lot. They go after people with the cash. And of course, the Trump family has lots. I really do believe he found out something on her. I've been waiting. I've been waiting to find out something he's got on her. Well, yeah. See, that's the big thing with the Spygate. Going back to that with Durham, they are trying to weasel out of this. And the one thing that it's catching them is the Woods reports, because when they filed those FISAs on Trump, there was supposed to be the Woods reports. Well, those weren't there. And see, if that would have been filed, they would have had to enclose documents on what they had found and the proof, but they didn't have any at that time. The only thing they really had was the first original report of Trump in Russia with the prostitutes in the bed. And that just wasn't enough. Sherry, I think you're right, but long hair and gray and white. So if any of you see Sherry's last one, I believe that's what it is. Just with a mix. Yeah, the whole thing with the FISA reports, that's something else, because they're only talking about 3, but there was actually 4 of them missing. And and when you look at the 4th one on the FISA reports, in the Mueller report, a lot of it's blacked out. A lot of that stuff was blacked out. But, in the Mueller report, it's all in the footnotes and the pages behind. And, some of the stuff, it just isn't there. It just, the stuff I expected, and, I still haven't read the whole thing. You imagine Rosie as a black poodle. Mimi, I'm with you. I thought so too. Oh yeah. And the thing about it was Mueller put stuff in the footnotes. And I didn't realize it until Dan Bongino started pulling up footnotes. And then I was like, well, man, I've missed half of the Mueller report then. So I went back and started reading footnotes. That's where all the info's at. And the stuff that came out on Dragon, that was, you've read every single word. That's awesome. Do you remember the saying in there about Dragon? Because, man, that is something. And, I just got it like 2 hours ago, the stuff I got on it. So now I'm going to have to go back and read. And I got other stuff last week. But so now I have got like 3 or 4 reports and a bunch of documents to look at to find out exactly what Brennan is doing. Right now it's Brennan that is running scared. So, oh yeah, and see, that's what Moon, you are really, really close because when they went after Stone and Flynn and Papadopoulos, that's what's going to prove that this was not a Russian, misinformation, that it's all Russia that did it. That right there. You would not believe how they went after Papadopoulos. I think is the one that's really going to nail Brennan and Comey because of how they went about it, and they bugged him and the questions that were asked, and don't forget now because they gave him some money, and he gave, I believe he gave it to his lawyer. Now, what got me was their biggest one that if you look into Flynn and Papadopoulos, Manafort, McCabe, and even some of Biden's stuff. There was a guy, and I don't know if you guys heard of him, is Miss Food. He was, he kept saying he was Russian, and then he wasn't Russian. He said he was from South America, and he wasn't from South America. But anyway, when they were fixing to bring him out, it was after the Mueller report, and he was the witness that was at every single one of these meetings. He died. He died. He just died. And nobody has got any info on how he died, why he died, or the stuff that his lawyers got. And the other thing is, there is also, if you guys remember with the Trump and the phone call and the whistleblower, the one that is Schiff's hiding, there is also now evidence that he could have even been one of the ones at NSI that was looking into Trump and the Russians. So, see, this is even new evidence and something I have to even look into is his connections to Schiff and the Spygate, because now Trump let go, was it 50 Obama holdovers in the NSI and just as many in the NSA. And so, this is great. I mean, I really do believe that Trump, we're going to get to the bottom of what they did. And, Barr has got to charge these people at this point, at least Brennan to start, and then Comey. They did this. And now, more and more, thank goodness to Tom Fenton, he's getting the documents. And then we've got some very, very smart journalists, that are coming out with figuring this out. I don't know if you guys had seen the Dan Bongino's Spygate. Watch it. That will tell you exactly what they did. And they're just not going to be, I don't think they can get out of this one. I don't think they can. The SES, yeah. Yep, that's some too. And there's a lot of them. And what that does is that keeps them able to have a connection with the government. Is Ray still there? Yes. He's the one I want fired. I want him fired because look, he went in to try to straighten out what Mueller was doing. And it's like he just sat there. And not to mention they had Weissman in there for a very long time. And I never did like that. The things really didn't change until you got Whitaker in there. Once Whitaker got in there, then it was half the Clinton lawyers quit, and there was people resigning out of underneath Comey and Mueller. So, what we do here, Linda, when we were low, but our shelves are filled up here. We went to a different store and bought another pack because I've got, my grandkids that stay here in the evenings, And one pack of what is it, 8 legs? That's not going to feed a hungry 12-year-old that eats like Hulk Hogan. But hang in there, though. I believe they're doing this so they can get the stock back up. Because you go in and their concerns right now is what from my trucker nephew. What I found out from my trucker nephew is them doing this has allowed those trucks to unload, and their back of the store storage is filling up. And I think pretty soon, if we just hang on a little bit longer, then you guys are going to start seeing what we got here. Our shelves are full. Everything, no matter what we want, it's there. So I just say hang in there. But we have 2 Walmart warehouses here, so that's why I'm thinking we're so full. And they're stocked. And from what my nephew says, and he is out in California, and he does California, Nevada, and Arizona. So. Oh, yes, it did come out today. There is a major pork factory. They have had a real bad ration of the coronavirus, and they're just going to go ahead and close it down, now, which is very smart. And I read the article, and it sounded like until they could get it all squared away, for their decision of reopening, you realize they have to go in and sanitize that whole plant now. The whole thing has got to be sanitized. So of course, they would close it down, sanitize it. They've got to probably pitch all that meat that's in there and start fresh. Yeah, I know. They're the bathrooms. I was telling people to start feeding the truckers at the truck stops, show up with meals. And a few churches did. I thought that was amazing. But it's the toilet thing now. Just hang in there. And Randy did say, and yeah, I'm going to say it again, Larry Nichols is, once he gets better and all those doctor bills start coming in, you guys need to give. And buy the shirts, buy the stickers. It's going to be the big thing coming into this next election of Never Socialism. So, and though, you can put those stickers anywhere. I mean, you can hold them. You can even, I wouldn't put it on the side of my purse because my purse is something my sister got me, and I think she would really like cringe if I put it on my purse. But you can hook it. And you can even, I've done this. I found one that was like, it was a socialism sign that I found at one of the stores I was going through. And I just got a clothespin and hooked it to my basket and rode through the store with it. And you would not believe how many people thumbs up on that one. So, get some of them stickers. Don't just get one, get 4 or 5 of them. And, when you go to the store, take a clothespin with you and just hook it on the basket, Never Socialism. And if they ask, that's good promotion for Larry Nichols. Not only are we going to help him out for his bills, but we're going to push that Never Socialism. I heard on the news over the weekend several barbecue food trucks are going to rest stops for the truck drivers. Yes. Lady size went up on the shirts. Yeah. Well, what happened to the lady sizes? Oh my goodness. I can't believe the made in China. That's what it is. Here's one. There is a place that is here in the States, and they make all the jerseys for the ball teams, all the professionals. and they had lost half their contracts to China. And it went, she said, about 3 years before they had all the orders flooding back in. And it was because China's sizes are off. And when they were getting the jerseys for the few years, they were way too small. And they were saying for the men, it was 2 sizes too small. So yeah, when you order stuff from a few places that go through China, definitely order the size way bigger. So let's see. I was on the political stuff. The thing about it is, when I seen it on Fox News this morning, when they were questioning Democrat, I believe Senator Coon, they didn't ask him about the voting stuff added in. And that would be the one I would have asked was, is there this voting bills that are driving this up and the changes to our voting system? And that's something that wasn't known. And see, this is what the Democrats do to push it. Now, so what they're doing last time was, oh, Nancy Pelosi added a little bit more to the unemployment and claimed that that's what was holding it up. No, what was holding up that bill last time was the funding to PBS and the JFK funding for the arts. And that's what held it up. This time, I think what's holding it up is those voting things. And, you know, if our senators don't come out and tell us that this is what's going on, and the news, the conservative news, isn't going to come out and tell us this is what's going on, you know, it's going to go through once again, and we could lose some voting rights. Now, to even push it even to on their side for the Democrats, they're talking if the Republicans do not agree with this pretty much this week, then, you know, it's going to be a wash for about 3 weeks, because I think they're all going on vacation for 2 weeks. So now they're pushing them, you know, do it our way, or we're just going to go on vacation. Well, yeah, because, you know, if you think on it, and you look at how they said they were going to make the stock market crash, this was a way of doing it. And I believe they knew about this virus in August. And I think they just pushed it, and the media pushed it. The group that I was with before you guys, the question was asked of me of, you know, what is the difference between this virus and the swine flu? Because they were thinking the swine flu was really, really bad. And they don't remember no media coverage on the swine flu. I remember very little. And what has happened is this flu isn't no different from the H1N1, the swine flu. The only thing different is the media jumped on it with the Democrats, and we're going to take Trump out with this. You know, so Linda, the corona is to take Trump out, right, and to crash the stock market. I'm supposed to call I called different investment firms, and I did last week, and they said so far it was going good due to the manufacturing and the trucking industry. Also, there was the other thing that is working in our favor is Saudi and Russia finally worked out their stuff, and OPEC. And not only that, but then Saudi had worked out a deal with Mexico also. So that's real good. I don't know if it's good for us, because we might not be able to sell to Mexico. But once they've done this, that is one thing that was holding up the stock market concerns. So now we might even see the stock market move a little bit more. But until this whole virus and the media quit making up their lies on Trump and how he doesn't care and he's not doing nothing, that stock market's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So I have heard that there was somewhere here in the United States that had gas at 80 cents a gallon. I just haven't been able to find it. How can they arrest preachers for having church? I think that was something the Democrats wanted to do. And what I hear is these pastors are going to take this to the Supreme Court. And once they get to the Supreme Court, they're going to see the separation between the church and state. And that's going to be a big one because people keep forgetting that. That the law that was written for between the church and the state. And I do not believe that the state is allowed to, and they're just doing this on their own, and it's the Democrats. And even if they go in and they stop them, and it got stopped then, but then the church, even if they fine them, like you said, when it actually goes into court, they can't be fined because that's freedom of speech. That's our First Amendment, and that's what that's why it's so important for the First Amendment, is the fact that now that this has happened, it's a protection for our churches for freedom of speech. So, this is going to be interesting how they do it, because even, you remember the people with the cake and the gay people that went in and they wanted them to do it and they didn't do it? A lot of those just keep getting thrown out as they go up, and they're just being tossed because you should be allowed to do what you want. You have the right to go out and yell whatever you want in the streets, but you can't enforce it. You cannot enforce it on anybody. And what did James say? Now I'm going to have to scroll back up. Curiosity kills a cat, I swear. James. Okay, yes. Gene says that they have taken out 65% of the dumps and named celebrities that are under arrest. RPG dead, Hillary dead or nearly, Bush and Obama and Gitmo, Epstein and Greenwood. Now, I did get some info on some of the undergrounds that are being crumbled, and I'm not sure if they're doing that. I'm pretty sure they're doing it with HARP. That's the only way to crumble them things. And there are celebrities that are being looked at, but as far as exactly anybody that's been arrested, I don't know, James. I really don't. Because I like to go and find out, and a good way of finding out is looking in the county that they're at. They have to live in the county, and that county has to arrest them. And what you can do is go through the courts, because most of the time they will list it. It'll just be classified. So what you'll see is you'll look up, let's say Happy Duty, because I don't want to point it at a certain star. And you go to his county, let's say Los Angeles County, and you look in the court files, and look in all of them. Look in every single one of them, because they like to hide these things. And so you look up for Howdy Doody, and it'll say like pedophilia or along that lines. But sometimes it'll have the name is classified. So there was somebody in that county that it's what we call circumstantial evidence. But you get enough of it, you can almost say, yeah, they were arresting people. Now, the other thing with the bills, let me see if I wrote the link down for you guys. So if you want, you can even go look at the bills that the Democrats have been passing. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Let's see. And I made sure I wrote it down for you guys, because I figured you guys might be interested in it. Government, it's V Track USA. GOVTRCKUS. And you could look at all the bills that they've been passing. And boy, you know what? I tell you, I went and looked, and you would not believe some of the stuff they're trying to get for the illegals. And it'll tell you the status on it. So if someone submitted it, let's say a Democrat submitted the bill, it'll say that they've submitted it, but it hasn't went any further to be voted on. It's just like it's a darkened thing, like in the shadows. So it's just kind of sitting there. So Trump's taken over the Federal Reserve. We're getting a new gold-backed dollar. James, here about 3 weeks ago, there was, it was in most of your financial papers that said gold boom. And that is when everything had hit rock bottom, and Trump had actually changed it over to the gold standard, and we were now starting to be gold backed. And I know Fox had it, and I believe Yahoo had it, because I was just like jumping for joy on it. Is anybody buffering? I don't think so. Yeah, Linda, you're right. And Randy, that's what I was talking with the First Amendment, the freedom of speech with the churches. And that is, when I took my constitutionalist class, that was one of the things that we really, that's why I knew the info to give you guys, was that our founding fathers wanted to make sure the church had the right to gather. And I believe that's one of the biggest reasons they did the freedom to be able to get together and worship. So, hold on to that First Amendment, folks. Got to make sure we hold on to that First Amendment. When you start looking back at what the founding fathers actually wrote in, and now is the time that I believe they wrote it for. So, Mary Ellen, we're getting close, and you always like it about 10 till to leave about 10 minutes, so you able to have your time. So, I don't know if she's listening. And maybe I ought to sing that song I was going to sing to her, but you guys would probably get a kick out of it because I'm off key now. Democrats are winning with the shutdowns. No, I believe.
Yes, I'm here listening.
Okay, well, is there like a really good looking dude behind you that could wave or something? I'm teasing.
Is there what?
I said, is that a good looking guy behind you?
Oh, okay.
She wanted to know where the good looking dude was. The viruses are getting worse and worse. No, MW. If we look at the UK, the problem is they're not showing you the recoveries from this. And shame on the news for this. Shame on me. I don't even have the numbers for you. Italy is way down, way down. They're hardly getting any. And Trump had to send out, and this is what I reported last week, MW. He ended up doing the new task force and added a few more doctors, and he is sending people state to state because those model numbers are just wrong. Anybody that's using those model numbers are just, they don't know what they're doing. And what has happened is when you go to the states and get the numbers, they're way lower. They're way lower. And that little curve they were talking about, and they said, oh, we're supposed to peak today, I believe. What was being shown last week is the peak. We had already peaked and we were going down. So now we're over. And that is why Trump wants to release everybody at the beginning of the month. I had a friend in UK that got hit hard with it. She's better. She did the Respirin that was out, and she's fine. She says she's healthy, and she has severe COPD, and she said this med they put her on even made her better now, and her doctor's thinking about keeping her on it because this has actually helped her get better from her COPD, and she's using less oxygen now. So don't think this is getting worse and spreading. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. And once you start seeing that they're coming down, like here, we never got above 8 people in the state that died. Or that was in, I'm sorry, not died, in the ICU and CCU. The problem with what they're doing is they're scaring you with these bigger numbers like the, let's see, my first page has it. There's 22,190 deaths. There are 557,000 cases total. Now realize this. Any of us, you guys, can have this virus. Any of us can. And it's something that they're finding in our structure to where we could be carriers but not have it, and we might never get it. So what they did is when they did these massive tests, they're finding out, and that they test positive. The positive does not mean they are sick and we're getting more cases. It means that these are the people that were tested that either have it or they have tested positive to a carrier of the virus. So I really hope I'm explaining this right. It's coming out slowly, Linda, because Trump did it on the one, oh goodness, it was I believe last week when he came forward and he had did the new task force, and he said he was now going to go with the numbers from and work with the people in the states, the counties, and through it federally, because to get the right numbers. And as he's going state to state, the numbers are way lower. You know what? I might have to bring something up to you because I had a pretty good sized group in my group before this, and I asked, so how many of you have tested positive? And now there was 15 in the group, and of course my friend that tested over in the UK, and there was 3 others, but they don't have no symptoms. And then I said, how many people have had the flu shot? And the only ones that had the flu shot was those few people that tested. And now, this is just a thought, something, just a thought. What if those flu shots had the coronavirus in it and we just didn't realize it? Because, they put a type of the flu so you get over the flu. And what's not to say it just didn't morph? It's hurting the old and it's getting the young, right? The old people have to have those flu shots. They have to. And that's my worry. And I'm not saying, don't get your flu shots if that's something you believe in. This is just a thought of, what popped in my head today. Because of, I heard a guy, over the weekend, I was flipping through some of the church services, and one of the pastors brought that up. And this is where I went to ask my group. He asked how many people, and he said he wanted like instant emails, or he had chat or something of how many people had tested for the virus. And there was a certain amount of people. And he did it at the very end of his show. And he said what it was there was like a certain portion that had it. And there was only about half the people that had tested positive. And the same amount of people that tested positive were the ones that had the flu shots. Now, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? I mean, that is something our scientists need to look into at this point. They're going to force tests on all of us. And you know what? I think somebody needs to come forward and see if that's what's caused this. Because, it worked in my group. I don't think anybody here has said they tested positive or did the test and had the virus. But, the flu shot and the virus and tested positive or tested positive and is at the flu shot. So, that's something that ask around, folks, because if that's the case, we might have something that we might need to change and not, this could be a really big mistake that they've done with these flu shots. It really is. So, yeah, see, Joyce, that's my thing is I was looking at, same with this pastor, is the fact that maybe, because look at Lysol and some of this other stuff, these cleaners that say, it's for the coronavirus. And they say it's always been there. This is just a certain form of it. So this is something we really do need to look at. And Mary Ellen is probably wanting to cut because we're on the hour. I asked her before and she didn't, kept let me go. So we'll wait for her to pop back in. Mary Ellen, hello. I would say breaker 19, but I don't think she does CB stuff. Yeah, I think we really do need to look into it because, and not only that is some of the stuff they're bringing up for the vaccine is stuff that's already out there. Now, here's for those that do not like Fauci, the scientist guy, rumors, Trump said he wants to fire him, and I hope he does. Yeah, movie star, and they would put it under their real names. Oh, you betcha, you betcha. Oh, I love WikiLeaks. That's one of the places I got all my info on Fauci. But then I had a friend that got a hold of me and said, well, heck, you've got the stuff on him too. You just didn't realize it. And, I didn't. When I did my show the other night, or when I did the slideshow, I did a slide video that shows Fauci with the Clintons early on, with Bill Gates early on. I mean, early. They're young. They're all young. Hillary Clinton, a lot of them. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's like 3 or 4 minutes long, and it shows all the pictures, and then it shows some of the documents of Bill Gates that they had planned this corona thing in Texas, and it was like an exercise they were going to do. So it's online if you haven't seen it. Go take a look. It's called Virus and something like the Deep State. And it's on my Investigator News on YouTube. Well, yeah. And I hope he does. I hope he fires him. I want him out. All he did was scare a lot of people. A lot of people. Oh, yeah. And, they even threw it out there that Trump owns part of owns a pharmaceutical company that makes it. Well, so what? Did he know when he bought it? No, he bought it quite a few years ago. I think, I don't want to do time and dates because then I'd be wrong and not knowing for sure. It wasn't recent. He didn't recently get into it, but he did get into it because one of his ideas as a businessman was to bring all of our pharmaceutical companies back over here, and we're to manufacture our own medicine from now on. So, Mary Ellen, I don't want to go over and take your time. She's with those guys in the back. And hey, William Green, yes. So I don't know if she's busy and just going to let me keep going, then I'll just keep going. Now, for those that was worried about the numbers going up, now realize when we all get back out, there will be another spike of the virus coming out, because over in Europe, they're letting people on the streets. China is, Japan is. So really, when we all get to go right back out again, there is going to be another spike. Do expect that. That's what Trump was saying, that it's not, we're not free of this yet. I just think the media stepped in and pushed it too far when they should have done this with the swine flu, and they should have done it with H1N1. But Obama didn't act on this. Is this a one world government? No, they tried to make it. And one of the things that Nancy Pelosi wants to put, if she couldn't have gotten it in the last bill, I'm worried about this one or the budget. They're trying to sneak it in. It's called financial, it's financial fairness, FF. And what it is for everybody to make the same wage. This is something Bernie Sanders wants, but I was really surprised when Nancy Pelosi tried to sneak it in. And what it is everybody will make like either $10 an hour, or they're going to make $15 an hour, let's say. But realize everybody straight across will be making that, even your doctors. There won't be no wages over that amount. And that was part of the Green Deal also. And that's what they're trying to sneak in right now on us. And yeah, you too, Gloria. God bless you. Many, many prayers to you. And maybe I just get this feeling to, blessings that, something good will happen to you this week. Something good. My hand's been itching. So I just got this feeling everybody's going to be doing good this week. It's a small world after all. Yeah, you know what I like? Here's one. The Carpenters. I like to teach the world to sing. Is that it? And the other one, Everything is Beautiful. I like that one too. I'm not going to sing, don't worry. My other group don't like me to sing either, so because I'll just howl. So Mary Ellen, everybody is leaving. But see, the problem about it, they know that it would kill McDonald's. See, the thing about it, it's fair to go $25 or $30 an hour, but then you're making the McDonald's hamburger a $10 hamburger. Because, of course, either they're going to go to where you're just dealing with the robots, or they're going to have to pay their workers that, and it will push your small businesses underground because they just can't pay that much. They would be losing money. So then that's why I would say it would go back on the swing to $15 or $10 an hour. But then the people making, what a doctor's wage is, what, $50, $75 an hour? And this is what they want for equality to all. And, that's the whole one world order, and that's socialism. That really is socialism. And are we close? Here a few years back, they tried to do the one world church. And a lot of churches says, oh, no, we're not going to go for that. Then they tried to make us go to the digital money. to where we did everything online like they're trying to do now. And as long as, oh, there she is. We've been yelling for you, and we can't hear you, Mary Ellen. She cut her mic off. We can't hear you.
I wouldn't have to turn it on, wouldn't it? All right,
So-
we're after the hour. Do you want to stop?
I yelled at you like 10 till,
Yeah,
and then I yelled at you again, and it was like, Mary Ellen, everybody's leaving. It's after 3.
Yeah, well,
There he is.
All right, guys. Thanks. We will be back tomorrow under a little more normal circumstances. So thanks for being here, and we'll talk tomorrow. God bless. Bye.
Bye-bye.